Alright, this is the assembly video for the 3D printed mini crossbow. Before we do anything, we want to make sure that these parts are printed properly, and the most important thing to check is that this trigger assembly, when inserted into the rear of the main body, goes in and out without any resistance. If there is any resistance here as it slides in and out, then the crossbow will not fire properly. So again, you want to make sure that this thing can slide freely in and out without any resistance. Now the first step to assembling this thing is that, again, we're going to take the trigger assembly, place it in the rear of the body, like so, and then we are going to turn that around and place that through into the lower part of the assembly, like so. And again, turn it over, double check, make sure that the trigger moves without any resistance, or with only minimal resistance. And then we are going to take two of the 9mm mount pins and place them in these holes to secure the body to the lower assembly, like so. And then we are also going to take the 6mm mount pins and place them into the body to secure it to the lower, like in these holes right here. So now that I have secured the body to the lower assembly, again, double check and make sure the trigger can move freely and without any resistance. Now we can go ahead and secure the grip, and in order to do that, we just want to make sure it's lined up with these holes on the lower, and then just insert it in like this and press. And again, we can, for this we want to use the 8mm mount pins through these holes to secure it to the lower. So for this next step, we again want to double check the trigger, make sure it moves freely without any resistance, and then we want to take the 14mm mount pins and insert them into these holes, again farther securing the lower to the body. Now that we've done this, we can insert the compression spring, push the trigger all the way forward, and insert the spring so that it goes into the body like this. You might need to wiggle it in there a little bit, compress it, in order to get it to stay. But the important thing is that when it is in there, it should look like so. Press the trigger a few times and make sure that the trigger returns to the forward position. trigger back, trigger released. So for this next step, we are going to secure the L-hinge into the mini pistol crossbow, and the way to do that is we're going to take the L-hinge. As you can see here, I've already secured a spring, the extension spring, onto the L-hinge, and we're going to simply insert that into the body like so, so that it fits up against the trigger bar. And then we're going to take the 35mm mount pin and slide it through like so. Now when the trigger is pulled back, we should ensure that that the L-hinge moves freely without much resistance. And then the next step is to take the lower spring mount, slide it into the lower body, and then we can take the spring, the extension spring, pull it through the lower spring mount like so. And now we can test the trigger assembly. We can push this down in order to lock it, and then use the trigger to release it. And again, the triggers are pulled without much resistance. So the next step is to add these covers to the lower in order to protect it from the string, as the string will snap right up against the lower right here. And so again, just place these over the body as sewn, and then press these 9mm pins in to secure them in place. Don't forget the 2 on this side. Also, these covers are mirror images of each other, so you will notice that you don't want to put the left one on the right and vice versa. It won't work. Okay, now the final step, which is inserting the arms into the body. One thing to note is that these are recurve arms, so they will bend forward when they are not under any tension. Simply want to insert the arms into these holes in the body, like so. Make sure that they go all the way in, and make sure again that you can't push them in any farther. One thing of note is that when stored, the device would be stored with the string forward. You notice that there will be some slight tension on the string. You might be able to twang it like a guitar, but it shouldn't be tight at this point. When you're ready to load the device, you want to pull the string back like so, and when you lock it behind the lower, the arms should be roughly perpendicular like so. And in order to test load the device, we'll take a dart, we will insert it into the track like so, press the dart all the way back, let the trigger mechanism engage, release the dart, it'll come forward just a little bit, and then it will be locked in place. If you don't want to actually fire that dart, then again just use your hand, push the dart back, release the trigger, let it slide forward, and pull it out.